The first mate of the bold venture lights a torch as he stares into the night sky from the crow's nest. The airship bobs slightly as a strong gust of wind picks up, and the first mate has to shield the torch with his coat in order to prevent the flame from going out. The wind grows further in strength to the point that when the first mate is about to put on his magical pair of goggles that can see through the darkness, he nearly drops them. With a curse under his breath, he decides to head back down, lest the oncoming storm should knock him off the ship. "Did you see anything, Erasmus?" a crew member shouts as the first mate plants both his feet on the deck. "Didn't get a bloody chance. The wind nearly pushed me off as if there were the wicked will of Odira herself." "Yeah, it's really picking up now. Might be the demon's work, as you say. I mean, there's not a damn cloud in the sky to speak of." The two men shrugged their shoulders. Weird things have certainly happened on board the bold venture. Rats that suddenly sprout wings and flew into the sky. The crew turning purple each time the airship crossed the border to Venstag for reasons unknown. The one time ship officer Betty drank a whole keg of dwarven ale and neither got drunk or sick, despite having ordinarily a constitution of a weak, feeble child. But none of those things felt as ominous as the chilling gales around them. "Oi, what's that?" First Mate Erasmus puts his pair of goggles on and looks in the direction that the crew member is pointing towards. In the distance, perhaps 200 feet or so, he sees a small white cloud flying against the wind, heading directly for the bold venture. "I don't know, but one thing is certain, it can't be good. Go, warn the captain. I'll rally the crew." "Sure thing, Erasmus." Both men draw their weapons and head in opposite directions. Erasmus runs towards the bronze bell situated at the main mast and grasps hold of the leather strap attached to the clapper. However, he only managed to ring the bell once, as his whole body tenses up. "No need to warn them, laddie. They'll all know soon enough." Sounds of metal greaves upon the wooden deck grows in volume as a figure behind Erasmus approaches him. The first mate grits his teeth and tries to turn around, but his body still does not oblige to his command. The figure walks in full circle until it stands in front of him. Black spiky full-plate armor envelops the stout body of a dwarf. A black barbed helmet covers the majority of the dwarf's face, with the exception of his long, shaggy white beard. Burning within the helmet is a pair of red eyes, both transfixed on Erasmus. There is no sense of life or emotions in these eyes, Erasmus noticed. Only pure hunger. With no warning, the dwarf grabs Erasmus by the shoulder and forces him down until he is at eye height with the dwarf. "You're not really my type, laddie, but I'm starving, so you'll have to do." Erasmus lets out a gasp as he feels a set of fangs bite down on his neck. Still unable to move, he feels his body try to convulse as his life force is drained out of him, and yet he stands in place. His body shaking more and more violently until he feels nothing but the embrace of darkness that consumes his vision and then his senses. That hit the sport. Oh well, time for business." The dwarf does not even bother wiping his blood-stained beard as he draws his mace and shield. The weapon has 4 hooked blades attached to the head, each gleaming an eerie, baleful yellow, despite a lack of light. "I swear, Captain, the cloud was moving against the wind. Make no damn sense."
Alrighty, man. No need to get your pants in a tizzy. I'll have a look. And then we're going to have a talk about not drinking grog after midnight."
Before the crew member has the time to respond, his head is caved in as the vampiric dwarf moves with unnatural speed and smashes his mace into the man's face. The captain lets out a roar of frightful surprise, but his voice is cut short as the edge of the dwarf's shield is hammered into his windpipe. The captain barely has time to grasp for his neck before the dwarf kicks his heel to the side, and as the captain lands on the deck with his back, his head explodes in a bloody mist as the hooked mace is brought down without mercy. On the opposite end of the airship, other crew members are rushing up on the deck, the commotion waking them from their sleep. They quickly adapt to the gruesome surroundings and each draw their weapons. The dwarf lets out a hearty laugh, not because he is amused by the pathetic effort of bravery, nor the futility of fighting against him. He laughs because he knew he would have done so had he still been mortal. The crew members move in unison with the proficiency of veteran hunters in a wolf pack, but the formation is cut short when one of the men falls down with a howl. Rocking on the deck, he grabs hold of his leg where his ankle once were. Now there's only a bloody wound as Erasmus chews with delight on the flesh he tore off with his bare hand. Behind the dwarf, the captain and the other crew member stand up. Their movement is jagged and sluggish as a pair of puppets moved by a sleepy puppeteer. Worry not, lassies and laddies. You too will soon join the entourage of Dorgrel Sternheart. And when I'm done here, it's gonna be your turn, Davri Abajamdoka. Thanks for listening. The intro music was by Fischer, whereas the outro music was by Martin Kerr. The other pieces which are mentioned in the description down below were by Kevin MacLeod. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we hope to see you again in Doraken.